The snow never stopped falling, not for hours, not for days, maybe not even for years. In this forest, time didn't feel like time anymore. It felt like being trapped inside a breath that never ends. 𝗘𝗺𝗿𝗀 stood still between the trees. Tall pines stretched endlessly above him, their branches heavy with ice. The wind moved through them like whispers of something alive, something watching. He adjusted his torn coat tighter around his body. Beside him, a small boy struggled to keep up. Noah, 8 years old, frozen fingers, red cheeks, eyes too tired for his age. "Are we close?" the boy asked again. Kael didn't answer immediately, because the truth was simple. There was no close in this forest, only deeper or lost. He finally nodded anyway. "Yeah," he said quietly, "just a little more." The lie came easier now, too easy. They moved forward through thick snow, every step sinking deeper than the last. The forest didn't feel empty, it felt intentional, like it rearranged itself every time they looked away. Kael had seen it before. Paths disappearing, trees shifting, familiar routes turning into dead ends. This wasn't just survival. This was a trap that learned you. Noah suddenly stopped. "Uncle Kael." Kael turned quickly. The boy was staring at something behind them, between the trees. Something moved. Not fast, not loud, just there. A white shape blending perfectly with the snow. Kael's hand moved instantly to his belt. A knife, cold metal. His eyes narrowed. White wolves. They didn't attack immediately. They never did. They watched first, as if waiting for fear to grow properly before they killed it. Noah grabbed Kael's coat. "I don't like this forest," he whispered. Kael didn't look at him. "I know," he replied. The wolves stepped closer, one more, then another. Silent, too coordinated. Kael slowly pulled Noah behind him. "Don't run," he said firmly. "Why?" the boy asked, shaking. Kael's jaw tightened. "Because that's what they want." A low growl echoed through the trees, not loud, but deep enough to vibrate inside the bones. The first wolf stepped into view. Massive, white fur covered in frost, eyes pale, almost human. It tilted its head slightly, watching Kael, waiting. Kael didn't blink, neither did it. Snow fell harder, the silence stretched, and then the forest moved. Behind them, another wolf, then 2 more. Surrounding them, Noah's breathing got faster. "Uncle!" Kael lowered his voice. "Stay behind me." The knife felt heavier now, not because of its weight, but because Kael already knew. This wasn't a fight he could win cleanly. The first wolf stepped forward. Kael exhaled slowly, and the forest finally broke its silence. The forest changed after that moment, not visibly, but something in the air shifted. Even the snow felt heavier. Kael didn't move for a few seconds, neither did the wolves. It was not a standoff anymore. It was a decision waiting to happen. Noah was shaking behind him. Kael could feel it through the fabric of his coat. Small tremors, fast breathing, a child trying not to cry, but failing slowly. A low growl broke the silence. One step forward, then another. The white wolf didn't rush. It didn't need to. It knew they were already trapped. Kael exhaled once, slow, controlled. Then he whispered without turning back, "Noah, don't look away." The first wolf attacked, fast, silent, like the forest itself had moved. Kael reacted instantly. Steel flashed, a sharp cut through the air. Snow exploded as the wolf missed his neck by inches, but it wasn't over. Another wolf hit from the side. Kael fell into the snow. Hard, cold burned through his back instantly. Noah screamed, but his voice got swallowed by the wind. Kael rolled, forcing himself up again. Blood, first drop, warm. It hit the snow and disappeared like it was never meant to exist. First blood in a place that never forgives weakness. Kael tightened his grip on the knife. His breathing changed now. Not fear, not panic. Survival mode. A wolf circled him slowly, watching, waiting for a mistake. Kael's eyes didn't move, but his mind did. Fast calculations, distance, timing, angle. The wolf lunged again. This time, Kael didn't step back. He stepped forward. The knife entered clean. For a second, everything stopped. Even the snow felt silent. The wolf collapsed, heavy, gone. Kael didn't look at it. He couldn't afford to, because behind him, Noah had fallen to his knees, tears freezing on his face. "Uncle, I don't want to die here." Kael froze, just for a second, not because of the wolves, but because of that sentence. He turned slightly and saw it. Not fear, not panic. Hopelessness, the kind that breaks something inside a child forever. Another wolf attacked. Kael barely blocked it. The force pushed him into the snow again, this time deeper, harder. His knife slipped slightly. Snow covered his hands. Cold was biting now, not just outside, inside too. He forced himself up again, but slower this time, breathing heavier. Vision slightly blurred. He muttered under his breath, "Not now, not like this." Another attack came, and another. The forest was no longer silent. It was eating the moment alive. Kael fought back violently now. No precision, just survival, just refusal. Blood mixed with snow, red and white disappearing together. But his body was starting to fail. Slowly, unfairly, a wolf knocked him down again, hard. This time, he didn't get up immediately. For the first time, he hesitated, not because he was weak, but because he heard something behind him. Silence. Noah had stopped crying. Kael turned slightly. The boy was sitting in the snow, completely still, too still. That's when Kael understood the real fear. Not death, but what comes before it. Emotional shutdown. Kael forced himself up one last time. Blood on his hands, snow in his lungs, pain everywhere. He walked back toward Noah slowly. Protective stance weaker now, but not gone, never gone. A wolf stepped between them. Final barrier. Kael looked at it, then at the child, and something inside him broke, quietly, completely. He whispered, "I said I'd take you home." Noah looked up. "We are home, aren't we?" That sentence hit harder than any wound. Kael didn't answer. He couldn't. The wolf moved again, and Kael stepped forward for the last time in that moment. Not as a survivor, but as a father who refused to lose what little he had left. The fight didn't end. It continued beyond strength, beyond logic, beyond control, and somewhere in the middle of snow, blood, and silence. Kael realized something terrifying. The forest wasn't trying to kill him. It was testing what he would sacrifice first, and part 3 would answer. What happens when even sacrifice is not enough? The first wound is not on the body. It's on the soul that keeps fighting anyway. The snow stopped falling for the first time in hours. Everything went still. That silence was worse than the storm. Kael felt it immediately. Something was wrong, not outside, everywhere. 𝗏𝗏 was standing behind him now. Quiet, too quiet. Kael turned slightly. "Stay close," he said. 𝗏𝗏 nodded, but didn't move. That's when Kael saw it. Between the trees, the white wolves were no longer circling randomly. They were organizing, forming a line, closing gaps, cutting escape angles. This wasn't a hunt anymore. This was an execution plan. Kael's grip tightened on the knife. His hand was numb now, not from cold, from exhaustion. He whispered, "𝗏𝗏, don't move no matter what." 𝗏𝗏 didn't answer. The first wolf stepped forward, then 2 more. Then the forest itself felt crowded. Kael realized something simple and terrifying. They had been waiting for this moment the entire time. The attack came from all sides at once. Snow exploded into the air. Shadows moved inside it. Kael reacted instantly, blocking, cutting, turning. But this time, it was different. There were too many. Too coordinated. Too intelligent. A wolf slammed into him from the left. Another from behind. He fell hard. Snow filled his mouth. Pain hit his ribs. And for the first time, he lost sight of 𝗏𝗏. He forced himself up immediately, but the forest had already changed position. Trees looked different. Distances were wrong. The boy was gone. Kael's breathing changed. Fast, sharp, uncontrolled. 𝗏𝗏, he shouted. Only wind answered. The wolves didn't attack again. They stopped, all of them, watching him now, waiting for what came next. Kael ran forward, snow breaking under his steps, calling again, 𝗏𝗏! Nothing. Then, a sound, a small cry, far behind the trees. Kael turned instantly. A small cry, far behind the trees. Kael turned instantly and froze. 𝗏𝗏 was there, surrounded, not attacked, controlled. One wolf stood between them like a wall, blocking vision, blocking movement. Kael took one step forward. The wolf growled. Low, final warning. Kael didn't stop. Another step. That's when everything shifted. The pack moved at once, not toward Kael, but toward 𝗏𝗏. Kael's eyes widened. No, he ran, but the forest reacted faster. Snow exploded again. Visibility disappeared. Sound broke apart. And in that chaos, 𝗏𝗏 was dragged back, slowly, not violently, deliberately. Kael reached the edge of the smoke-like snow wall, but couldn't pass. Something was stopping him. Invisible resistance, like the forest itself had decided. Enough. 𝗏𝗏, Kael screamed, and then silence. When the snow cleared slightly, 𝗏𝗏 was gone. Only small footprints remained, half covered, already disappearing. Kael stood still, not moving, not blinking. For the first time in the entire story, he looked lost, not physically, emotionally erased. His voice came out low. You took the wrong one. A pause, then softer. Take me instead. The forest didn't respond, because it already had. A wolf stepped forward alone now. No pack, no noise, just finality. Kael looked at it, and something inside him broke cleanly. No rage left, no fear left, only decision. He slowly raised the knife, but not toward the wolf, toward himself. He whispered, "If it wants balance, I'll give it." The wolf didn't move because it understood. This was no longer survival. This was sacrifice beginning. Kael took one step forward, then another. The forest didn't stop him this time because it was waiting for part 4, where the forest doesn't always kill what you protect. Sometimes it takes it to see what you will become. The forest didn't feel like a place anymore. It felt like a decision. Kael stood at the edge of the clearing. Snow had stopped moving. Even the wind felt respectful, like it was waiting for something important to happen. His knife was still in his hand, but his grip had changed. Not firm, not sharp. Empty. Noah was gone. That truth no longer felt like shock. It felt like weight. Permanent, unmovable. Kael whispered into the silence. "You didn't take him. You separated him." A pause. Why? No answer came, but the forest responded anyway. Slow footsteps. From everywhere, the white wolves returned. Not as a pack now, as witnesses. They surrounded him again. But this time, they didn't rush. They waited. Kael slowly looked around, one by one, each wolf holding its position, like a circle of judgment, and for the first time, he understood. This was never about survival. It was about breaking him until nothing remained. Kael exhaled deeply. Cold air filled his lungs and left like it didn't belong to him anymore. He spoke softly. "If you wanted me, you should have taken me first." A wolf stepped forward, closer than before. Kael didn't move. His body was tired, but something deeper had changed. Not strength, clarity. He slowly placed the knife on the snow. The wolves didn't react because they understood what he did. It wasn't surrender. It was acceptance of cost. Kael knelt down, hands resting on frozen ground, and for the first time, he didn't fight the forest. He spoke to it. "I chose him over me, every second. If that was your test, I passed." Silence. Then, a distant sound. Not a growl, not wind. Something softer, like memory. Kael's eyes narrowed slightly. Snow behind him shifted. A small footprint appeared. Then another. Kael turned slowly and froze. Noah was standing far away, alive, but not running, not crying, just watching. Kael whispered, "Noah." The boy didn't respond immediately. Then he said something that broke Kael completely. "I didn't get taken. I got let go." Kael's breath stopped. The wolves didn't move, because now the test had ended. Everything was quiet, too quiet. Kael stood up slowly, step by step, walking toward the boy, but halfway. He stopped because he understood something worse. Noah wasn't fully the same. His eyes were different, not afraid, not innocent, changed, like the forest had touched him too. Kael whispered, "What did they do to you?" Noah looked at him and answered calmly, "They didn't hurt me. They showed me what you are." Kael froze. The forest had done something else. Not destruction, revelation. The wolves began to step back, one by one, returning into the trees, not defeated, not gone, just finished. Kael turned fully toward Noah, slowly, carefully, and for the first time, he didn't know how to protect him anymore because the forest had changed the rules, and now so had the boy. Final moment of part 4. Snow started falling again, lightly. peacefully, like nothing had ever happened. Kael whispered, "Are you still my Noah?" The boy didn't answer immediately, then softly, "I don't know anymore." Kael closed his eyes for a second, just 1 second, and in that moment, he understood the truth. The forest doesn't always take bodies. Sometimes it takes identity. The hardest survival is not escaping death. It is recognizing what you become after surviving. The snow fell gently now, like the forest had finally learned how to pretend nothing happened. Kael stood facing Noah, but something between them had changed forever. Not distance, not fear, recognition, and uncertainty. Noah took a slow step forward, then stopped. Kael didn't move. His body wanted to run toward him, but something inside held him back, like an invisible truth pressing against his chest. Noah spoke softly. "You used to call me your responsibility." A pause. "Do I still belong to that word?" Kael's throat tightened. He tried to answer, but nothing came out, because the truth was split now. The forest had not just tested him, it had rewritten what belonging means. Behind them, the trees began to creak again, not aggressively, not threatening, almost like they were breathing out. The white wolves were gone, but their presence wasn't. It stayed in the silence. Kael slowly knelt down, not because he was weak, but because he had nothing left to stand on emotionally. He looked at Noah, softly said, "I didn't lose you. I lost the version of you I understood." Noah blinked. For the first time, confusion appeared. Not fear, not coldness, just childhood trying to return. "Am I bad now?" That question broke Kael more than anything before. He shook his head immediately. "No, you're not bad." A pause, long, heavy. "You're just changed." Snow continued falling. Quiet, soft, final. Kael reached into his pocket, pulled out a small broken compass, the only thing he had carried since the beginning. He placed it in Noah's hand. "If you ever forget who you are, follow this." Noah held it tightly, like it mattered more than survival. The forest behind them slowly faded into stillness, as if it had completed its purpose. Years later, a story would be told of a man who entered a forest and never returned the same. Some said he died there. Some said he became part of it. But those who truly understood the forest knew the truth. He didn't escape it. He was rewritten by it. And the boy survived. But he never spoke of the forest again. Only once, when someone asked him why he never feared snow, he said, "Because snow is just silence wearing white. The forest doesn't always end a life. Sometimes it continues it in a different form." Survival is not escape. It is transformation that you cannot undo.